Now let me elaborate a bit more. So why not simply vow? Why not simply offer the sacrifice of fools? You see, when you read this, don't just think of it in terms of, different things that are done in kind of disparate, separate kind of actions, but see it as this whole mentality of a human being that approaches God's house. What would you say of someone who goes to the house of God and immediately talks, immediately offers a sacrifice, immediately vows, immediately has a dream, right, of what God wills for him? So he has many big dreams. He thinks that God has given him, right? God wants me to do this and to do that. And so then as he comes to the house of God, he immediately says, right, Lord, if you will forgive me of my sins, I swear to you, Lord, I will be a preacher to the ends of the world. Okay, we are used to saying stuff like that, right? God, if you give me this scholarship, I promise I will use it for your glory. Okay? Okay, what is that kind of attitude in this kind of person that comes and talks and offers and does stuff when they come to the house of God? What is the attitude? The attitude is they think they know. They think they know what the will of God is. They think they know what is God's purpose and plan for them. Maybe they know a little bit, right? But the author is making the point, before you talk, at least what should you do? Listen. To draw near, verse 1. To listen is better than to offer the sacrifice of fools, for they do not know that they are doing evil. This might shock you, right? The word evil there, because most of us think that whoever goes to the house of God and says anything or offers a sacrifice of whatever, right? Pigeon ka, kerbau ka, right? And if I make a vow to God, and obviously it's not going to be a really crazy vow, right? I vow to you, I will kill every infidel out there. It won't be like that, right? It'll be one of those like, I vow to you, Lord, that, I will do this for you or do that for you. I will pay back whoever I've stolen from. So usually we won't think of these people as evil, right? Maybe they are misled. Maybe they are confused. Maybe they are ignorant. But can you see how the preacher here is stating that if you are going to just go and offer the sacrifice, and if you're just going to be rash with your mouth, if you're just going to, based on your dreams, give many vows and give many words to God, then you are a fool in verse 1. You are evil in verse 1. Can you see that? And the main reason why he calls you a fool and evil is because you don't know Jack. And you think you know. Based on Ecclesiastes, in the life under the sun, you know nothing about God, and you think you know who God is, and you think you know what God wills for your life. And that's true for many people out there, and for some of us here tonight. We think that we know who God is and what life is all about. We think we know his will and his plan for us. We say stuff like, yeah, all religions are the same one. They teach us to do good. God wants us to do good to humanity. You're a fool. You're evil because you talk without listening. That's why today's title is Shut Up and Listen. Because it is sweet words of wisdom. And here we're not talking about a concession kind of wisdom already. We're moving on to what is the point. It is sweet words of wisdom to actually shut up and listen. Why? Verse 2, because God is in heaven and you are on earth. God is the one we saw in chapter 3 who is in control of times and seasons, right? He's the one who knows exactly when the mountain goats give birth. He knows exactly at what speed the sun should be spinning, right? At what speed the other planets in the solar system should be spinning. And he put them right at the right axis, at the right speed, and spun them. God is the one who is in charge of all things, big and small. He's transcendent. And at the same time, he's involved in our lives, right? And because of that, let your words be few. You creature, you who live under the sun and don't really know what life is about. The temptation is always for us to do something, right? That's what religion always tells us to do. Religion just generally tells you should do something, right? Be good. Do this, do that. 3 steps, 5 steps to life, right? 2 steps to become, the top bodhisattva and to reach nirvana. Verse 3, for dream comes with much business and a fool's voice with many words. Do you really know God? Do you really know his will? Or is it just something that was handed down to you by your family members? Or is this something that you did research on and you thought, yeah, this pretty much explains my position about God? I don't mean to be disrespectful, but who cares about your position about God? Do you really know God? Can you really find out about him? You can't, as we saw, right, in Ecclesiastes, you can't actually know these things. God is the one who has to reveal himself to you. Otherwise, life is just full of vanity. This life under the sun is just full of vanity. You look for meaning, you look for purpose, you look for God. You can't find God on your own. Then verse 4, when you vow a vow to God, the reason why we can make vows so easily to God is partly because we don't really believe there is a God. You know that, right? Part of the reason why we can make a vow to God and we make big vows is because we have unbelief. We don't really believe that there is a God. Because if you knew there was a God and you knew exactly who this God is, you would not simply make a vow. You be very careful, because it's like if you meet the Agong or you meet the Prime Minister of Malaysia, okay, some of you might not actually appreciate the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Okay, if you meet the President of the United States, okay, the most powerful man in the world, you won't simply utter a vow. I swear, Joe Biden, to give my entire family line, the Pan family, to your household. Nonsense, right? You're going to make that kind of vow, you better keep it, because he is the President of the United States. Okay, so if you know who God is, you won't simply make a vow, because you got to pay for it.